Dr. Norton intake rounds, then you're staring at his robot double. This is where Dr. Norton and the residents hear all of the cases that have come through on the night and day past. We present and hear some 30 cases in 60 minutes, each about a person, some with a medical problem, others not so much, that have been admitted to our service. Dr. Norton hears these cases worked up by the residents, usually giving nods and agreements, an occasional gruff. He sprinkles his signature on the service, making sure the broader strokes are taken care of, all while having respect and trust in those working below him, knowing that he can only see a snapshot of the cases. He teaches us about the latest pertinent clinical trials on the matter, what the texts have to say, and keeps us privy on what to look out for. But if nothing more, we should take away the following from these informative mornings. The smell of an EKG is essential to diagnosis, and that we should all consider ourselves board-certified practitioners of hypoglycemia, C. diff, and QT prolongation. Joking aside, we thank you for your knowledge and guidance, Dr. Norton. In all seriousness, there are many valuable things that we have learned throughout our training. We have learned that vital signs are vital. To work very hard and not complain. To see the next move. To form a plan and execute it. To have scope. To stay awake. To say good night in the morning. To press on. To focus on the essentials. To take orders. To give orders, to not let personalities get in the way of medicine, and to not let medicine get in the way of people. But we did not learn all of these things by ourselves or through osmosis. It took a program. A program set forth by thoughtful men and women, chiefs of medicine, program caretakers, teaching attendings, chief residents, the senior residents before us, men and women with a vision, a plan, a sensibility of how to teach people, an insight into infrastructure, and of course, a sound knowledge of medicine. It takes people with the mentality of not letting a potential teaching experience fall by the wayside, even if it takes more thought or breath. The soil and foundation of such a program are made up of intake rounds, teaching rounds, resident report, noon conference, and grand rounds. And again, most importantly, great teachers. A plea stands out in my mind. A plea to a group of us one day in resident report by Dr. Christine Coyle. When presenting a case to Dr. Coyle, she will many times ask us if we had looked inside the eyes. And what she is referring to is whether or not we have performed an ophthalmological exam. Now, this exam is a bit of a lost art. It may possess as much symbolic power as it does diagnostic power. By looking inside the eyes, one can diagnose such things as hypertension and diabetes. But what it symbolizes is taking the time and being comprehensive. Many physicians don't do it because of just that. It takes time. Also, it can be intimidating and difficult when one is new at it, enough so that one may find themselves underplaying the importance of it because of the frustration it engenders. Well, that's something my dad would refer to as bush league, meaning amateur. So upon Dr. Coyle's plea and concern for the passing down of tradition and training from generation of physician to generation of physician, I have spent some time in ophthalmology clinic this month making sure this skill did not elude me before I graduated from this program. Point being is that our teachers should know that their word is not lost on this class of Jacobi residents. We will go out into the world and accomplish great things and promulgate positive change. We leave from these halls amid a potentially transitional time in the world and in medicine. Talk of healthcare reform looms with a questioning of our current system ever present. President Obama appears poised to try and bridge the gaps, but problems run deep on both sides. Accessibility of quality healthcare is vital, At the same time, professionals should be appropriately acknowledged for their labors. While we must take measures to keep our guild strong, we should always be guided by one tenet: do what is best for the patient. Remember that as physicians, we have great responsibilities to our society, for we are not civilians. We must live by a code. And now, some thanks are in order. Behind every doctor, there is someone outside of the hospital, family, or close friend who has stood by them, supported them, encouraged them throughout their long and arduous path. So why don't we take a moment right now and acknowledge those special people in our lives? In that vein, I would like to honor someone who has been a planet of support to me, even peeled through the fruitful and tumultuous times of life, always positive and reassuring. Thanks, Mom. I'm sure I could have done it without you. Finally, I'd like to say a few things about this city hospital and many like it. They can be tough places to be at times. While they can attract some of the greatest minds in medicine, they can be understaffed and underfunded and overloaded. This is why a place like Jacoby is a Serengeti of medicine. Primarily because of the volume and complexity of patients, this place forces us to adapt. Also, the red tape, the personalities, the various physical and psychological barriers, the miscommunication, the lack of communication can all be quite frustrating and adds to this. But for now, a lot of these things are part and parcel of the city hospital, and they must be dealt with so that high-quality health care is still delivered to those in need. And it is great training for life. This place straightens us by fire, forces us to grow stronger, trains us to see through the mist and the foliage, prompts us to run faster, be sharper, and hopefully it helps us acquire a finer eye at seeing through to the good in things and in people, and compels us to tear down our assumptions, our judgments, our shortcuts to listening and thinking through it. That being said, we should never rest on our laurels. We should always strive to make such an institution better. We should continue to solve problems and not accept mediocrity and never give up, and continue to strengthen our connection to one another. So I'll close with the words of the immortal Frank Sinatra. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
The next part is your show. So first, I get to introduce the chiefs that just say a couple of